Hey guys, Theron Asbury here again with Revital Outdoors. Very excited for another podcast this evening. Tonight we have Mr. Jeremiah Jensen. Last year he got a top 10 in the BFL on Lake Hartwell. The tournament again is on Lake Hartwell this season for the South Carolina division among the BFL. So we're very, very excited to talk to him, talk about his tournament last year and what he predicts for this year. Real quick, as always, if you're liking these podcasts, you're enjoying the content that Revital Outdoors is producing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and then like this video. That will get you notified when all of our content drops, and we're doing a lot of podcasts, a lot of great content lately. You won't want to miss it, so be sure to go ahead and subscribe to our channel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring him in, Mr. Jeremiah Jensen. How you doing this evening, bud?
Doing great. Good to be with you.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time to be on with us, and we're honored to have you. So let's talk about it. You, where are you from, first of all, and how often do you fish Lake Hartwell?
Well, originally you might see from my gear on, I'm from Nebraska, Kansas area, but I've been in South Carolina now for 17 and a half, getting close to 18 years now. So I'm from South Carolina now. I'm actually, I would consider my home lake to be Lake Murray. I fish Murray, most of the time, but I get to Hartwell a decent amount, and I enjoy it because it's a nice change of pace from what I'm used to on, like, say, Murray or Santee. So it's a fun lake for me.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, the BFL regional this year is on Lake Murray, so hopefully we see you there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It depends on what division you're in, which lake you're at. I'm pretty sure for the South Carolina division, we're doing something Alabama, Pickwick or Wheeler, I think, in Alabama. I haven't really looked ahead that far,
okay.
But
yeah. So, well, let's talk about your tournament from last year. Last year, top 10 finish, Lake Hartwell, got off to a really great season. You ended up finishing really well in points. Talk to us a little bit about how you practiced for Hartwell and what you kind of found and what was successful in the tournament.
Sure. So the tournament I fished last year was a lot later in the season. So the patterns were much different. And that at that time I believe there was some fish spawning or getting ready to spawn. So it was a little different deal than what we're going to be dealing with this time around. It's going to be winter. I mean, it's not like it's as cold as it's been all year right now. We had high teens for lows. We had snow here around Columbia area, and I know they had snow a couple times now up in the Anderson area around Hartwell. So it's going to be, you can almost call it midwinter type tournament this year round rather than like a pre-spawn spawn type deal, which is what we've done in the past on Hartwell. So it's going to be a little bit different. But it's got a ton of spotted bass in it, and they'll always bite. So the key difference maker in that lake is not necessarily getting bites. It's finding that 2.5 pound bite to try and separate from the guys that are catching. Everyone's going to catch 5 for the most part, but they're going to weigh 6-7 pounds. You need to get that 2.5 plus fish with a limit, and that's what's going to give you a little gap in the results. So so you got to kind of figure out. Yeah, you got to figure out how, either if you're fishing deep, there's going to be different patterns that are available. I expect there'll be some dirty water because there's been so much rain and snow lately. So you can go up rivers or creek arms, find off-color water, and fish for potentially largemouth or fish shallow fish. And then there's this time of year is going to be the vast majority is going to be deep on bait in drains or ditches, whatever you want to call them. And it's either deep jerk baits or literally vertical fishing, vertical jig and spoons, drop shots, that kind of bait.
Okay. So you're predicting maybe 15, 16 pounds is going to walk away with it this year?
Yeah. I mean, the potential is always there on Hartwell to catch a big bag, because there are some big largemouth roaming around, and there's enough big spots that if you get on the right group of them, you can catch high teens to 20 pounds. The likelihood of that happening is fairly slim. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a handful of guys that may just kind of cherry pick this event that live in the area. If it's just one event. But so I'm not going to say 15 is going to win it, but 15 is going to be a really good, it's going to get you up there pretty high, I think. And to be honest with you, I haven't fished on Hartwell. I'm going up the week of the tournament to practice a few days. So I don't really know exactly how to give you a good forecast at this moment. But I know that with all the spotted bass in that lake, it's going to be easy to get bit, I believe, but it's going to be getting that better quality is that's the key to, getting that gap between you and the rest of the field.
Okay. Well, you mentioned one of my favorite baits in the world, a drop shot, and you also talked about throwing a jerk bait. Give us a little insight. What's your favorite drop shot bait, and what do you look for in a good jerk bait to fish on Hartwell?
Again, it's going to be dependent on the pattern you're trying to fish. If you're going out and you're fishing what I consider deep, 25 plus, up to maybe 50 feet, then your drop shot bait, it's not that important. Your standard robo worms, finesse worms, and you can make it a bright color because they'll eat it. If you get it in front of them, they'll eat it. If you're fishing that deep, if you're fishing shallower, then you're going to go green pumpkins and stuff like that, or maybe realistic bait fish. Look, like I like the little jackal clone fries. I like the fish arrow drop shot baits that have the little foil insert in them, get a little flash to them. So it just depends on if you're going to go deep, 25, 30 plus. Finesse worms of really like purple colors, pink colors, like that morning dawn colors. And then if you're going shallower than 2015, typically you're making casts rather than vertical fishing it. And then you're going to want either real natural bait fish or like a green pumpkin style.
Okay. So,
as far as jerk baits go, again, I'm going to go with the most realistic looking bait fish imitator I can. And, it's a mega bass 110 usually. There's a handful of other, good jerk baits, but you're looking for a chrome or even translucent bait fish color.
Okay. Is there a lot of brush piles in Hartwell? You think that'll be a factor this time of year? And what about the docks?
Sure. So it'll depend on the weather. If we have overcast, maybe wind, the day of the tournament, I think it's going to be more open water, and it's going to be either maybe almost power fishing style baits. Even if you're fishing deep, it's going to be moving baits or vertical jigging, like a jigging spoon or some kind of vertical bait. Or if you're fishing shallow, crank baits, shad rap, jerk bait up shallow. If we have a bright, sunny, calm day, post front type day, then that's the brush. It's going to be brush. There's a lot of deep docks. I mean, floating docks over 25, 30 feet, and you can find the ones that have brush piles on them. That's going to be the ticket. And that's honestly what I'm hoping it won't be, because that's not as enjoyable a fishing style for me personally.
Right.
So you always gotta do your due diligence and try them out. Find a few docks that, or it's really the brush, I think, more so than the dock. But if you got a dock over top of a brush pile and you got a bright bluebird day, that's the place you're gonna want to try. So.
Okay. Do you think a lot of anglers will have mixed bass between largemouth and spotted bass? Would you key on just the spotted bass? Like, what would you chase after, or just it doesn't matter?
It kind of whatever suits their style. I tend to be a shallow guy, and it's all relative on Hartwell. Shallow is relative. Shallow is 15 feet or less, really, in my mind, on Hartwell. And if you're doing that, you're gonna pick up a largemouth or two. And if you run specifically to dirtier water, you can find largemouth. But the guys that really are consistently good up there, they're finding schools of spots that they kind of run together size wise. And if they get on schools that are in that 2.5 pound class or up, that's going to be a more consistent bite. But it's a 1 day tournament. So, if you can get on it, if you get the right weather conditions, you can get some largemouth, and that will be a difference maker. If you can get a few of those, they tend to, that's as good as catching 2 of the spotted bass a lot of times.
Okay. Okay. Well, one last final thought. What do you think a co-angler needs to do to be successful at this tournament coming up?
Oh, I got a lot of buddies that are co-angling up there, and I've given them advice, so that this will be an easy question for me to answer. I would 100% have a drop shot ready to go, and I would have a Ned rig and a shaky head, and then I'd have one setup that you can use to put on some kind of moving bait. So so basically that way you're set up for whatever hand you're dealt as far as what your boater's doing. A shaky head will get bit on that lake from 0 to 50 feet of water.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a shaky head and that's your favorite style of bait, then you should have success. You should be able to find a way to get bit. But I would say you want a drop shot and a Ned rig, a shaky head, and then something that you can tie a moving bait on, depending on what your boater ends up doing that day.
Okay. Okay. So, well, Jeremiah, it's been an honor having you on the podcast. You gave us a lot of great information, but here at the end, we want to give you the floor to thank any of your sponsors, your family, anybody at all. This is just your time.
Well, I don't have a ton of sponsors. I do have Palmetto State Armory, fishing outpost here in Columbia that helps me out some, and they're real good guys. It's a good tackle store here in Columbia. They stack a lot of good stuff that tournament guys are looking for. And then Level Performance Rods. It's actually Anthony Gagliardi's rod company that he has, and I've been using their rods since they first started up. So, but otherwise, obviously my family allows me to do this and spend every free moment I have either fishing or thinking about fishing. So I appreciate all of them. So I do thank you for having me on anytime. I love talking about fishing. So I'll come on anytime. And as far as the whole schedule, just since it's the first one of the year, I thought I might mention too, just one thing, I've heard, and I may have been guilty of this at times too. The schedule is very different this year than what we've had in the past, as far as the time, like the lakes that we're visiting here in South Carolina and the time we're doing it. And at first I was kind of, frustrated with, well, why are we not doing this then? Why are we not doing that? Because there's been a pattern in the past what we've been doing, but I've kind of tried to embrace it, and I'm feeling like it's going to be interesting to go to these places different time of year than we have in the past. So I'm trying to look at it, from an interesting, kind of change of pace. And I think guys I've been talking to, like I've said, a first initial thought was, the schedule is not as good as it usually is. But I really feel like now I'm kind of embracing it, and I like that we're doing something different. So just as far as the whole season going forward, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out this year. Maybe guys that haven't done as well in the past might do better this year because they're hitting lakes at different times. Maybe they're more comfortable with that type of fishing that time of year. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the whole season unfolds.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, and we hope to have you on too, because that means you're doing successful. We always try to, put these podcasts together before the tournament. We always want to try to interview the winner or somebody that was in the top 5 after. So hopefully we get to see you again soon. And we're talking about either your victory or your strong season.
All right. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah. Appreciate you. You have a good night and good luck out there, bud.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, that was Mr. Jeremiah Jensen from South Carolina. Again, he got a top 5 last year in the Lake Hartwell event. Mentioned in there that was a little later of the time of year when they had the tournament. But needless to say, he's still a strong stick on Lake Hartwell, and we'll be rooting for him. So once again, I'm Theron Asbury. Thank you to everyone who has tuned into our podcast, everyone that follows on social media, that's Facebook and Instagram, and then everyone that subscribed to our YouTube page. Couldn't do it without you guys. Again, if you've never heard of Revital Outdoors and you're interested in our premium CBD products for outdoor enthusiasts, be sure to check out our website, www.revitaloutdoors.com. We have a full range of information in there, a lot of educational pieces about our premium CBD products, how they're THC-free and how they're made right here in America, and how they can help you, the outdoor enthusiast. So tune in next time for another podcast coming up very, very soon. Thank you again. God bless. Be safe out there, and we will talk to you soon.